Hi, and welcome to Successful Skills in Secondary Science. If you will please make sure that you have signed in with your facilitator and go ahead and create a name tent for yourself and write your goal for the day using the following STEM. My goal for today's session is, facilitators, you can pause the video here and then continue when everyone is ready to go and you have discussed everyone's goals. Successful Skills in Secondary Science was designed to target best practices in the science classroom and help teachers to cultivate new skills to create success for their students in their classrooms. I'm Samantha Bradbury. I'm one of the science consultants at Region 10, and I am part of the teaching and learning team. If you have any questions post-presentation, you are welcome to email me here at the email that you see on the screen, and I'll be happy to assist you with anything that you may need. So let's go ahead and get started. The overall goals, and these may look similar to the ones that you had created, is to identify best practices for the secondary classroom, reflect on current practices and challenges we may face as secondary teachers, have a plan for at least one new strategy to implement before the end of the session, and celebrate new ideas and learning. We will be working within several standards when it comes to teacher expectation and student ability. For teacher expectation T-Test Dimension 2.1, we will be looking at the teachers supporting all learners in their pursuit of high levels of academic and social emotional achievement or success. ELPS, we will be narrating and describing and drawing and explaining things in writing. And we will be using some of the process skills. So if you have an app where you can pull up your process skills, such as Texas TEKS, I know is available through iOS and Android, you can use that, or you're welcome to go to the link below, and that also has your process skills listed for you there. And or you can use the TEA website for all of the TEKS listings. This is our general schedule for the session. Your facilitator may have decided to break these up into sections, which is perfectly fine. They will tell you and determine when these activities will occur, and if you have any questions regarding that, you need to speak with them. Thanks. First, let's go ahead and create your Mini ISN. I've provided a link here for you, but your facilitator should pause the video here, and they have a link to the instructions of the Mini ISN, which they may go ahead. Facilitators, if you want to go ahead and show your participants how to create that Mini ISN, you may do so at this time. Pause the video here. So what is a Mini ISN? Go ahead and pause the video here and talk about what Mini ISNs are. Or if you are not familiar with an ISN, I would discuss with other veteran teachers or others that are using this particular device and tool in the classroom. Look at advantages and disadvantages with ISNs, and if you'll take a second and write that down in the left-hand side of the first clean page that you have in your Mini ISN notebook that you created, and then share out in your tables and then in whole group. Facilitators, you can pause the video here and conduct that activity. So just so you know when where all of the information goes in an interactive notebook, there is actually some meaning behind its setup. Some teachers just have students take notes and kind of draw things and put things in where the student chooses to, which is, I guess, okay. But there is some neurological research by Daniel Pink. So if you desire to learn a little bit more about his research and the setup of the interactive notebook, we do have a full-blown session that you can take. But for right now, we're just going to kind of talk about where things are going to go during our session. If you are outputting something into your notebook, that's all going to go on the left-hand side. The reason is because the left side of the body is controlled by the right side of the brain, and the right side of the brain is the creative side. So when you are creating, brainstorming, creating concept maps, drawing pictures, writing prompts where you're kind of thinking out an idea, you're going to put that only on the left-hand side in your notebook. So that's why we had you put several pages in for your Mini ISN. On the right side of the notebook, that is where your facilitator is going to have you write notes. The information maybe that you're writing down right now with the output input, that should be on the right hand side of your notebook, because the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, much like the right side of your notebook. So that is the sequential, orderly control type information that you would put into this side. So class notes, discussion notes, it's new information, factual information that's being handed out, and there's not a whole lot of creative thinking on the student part in this piece of the notebook. So let's start diving right into inquiries. We're going to use inquiry as a vehicle for learning during our session today. And these are conversation pieces for thinking forward in science. These are some of the things that we can do when it comes to using inquiry. We can organize what we do and do not know. We can collect evidence. So you need to get used to asking your students, what is your evidence? They formulate claims all of the time, but many times they're going off of prior knowledge or incorrect knowledge, maybe a misconception. So asking them for evidence is critically important when they formulate a claim. And then we'll look at constructing reasoning. So taking all of that evidence and coming up with a valid reason behind your claim is important as well. I really do love this quote because really it encapsulates what we should be doing as teachers, and that's giving them the platform to learn, that we're not encyclopedias and we're not telling them every factual information. If they can Google it, you probably shouldn't be telling it to them. Let them discover their learning. Put the learning in their lap. It's okay to have some direct teaching, but only about 20% of the time. So if you're finding that about 45 minutes of a classroom period, you're spending 30 of it talking, you're probably talking too much. You need to back off to about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. Number one, you want to keep your students' attention. And number two, that's just best practices. So some food for thought for you. We're going to go ahead and move into our engage piece. So facilitators, if you want to stop this video here and move on to the engage video, this is where we're going to pick up, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Thanks.